The Philadelphia 76ers have picked up their second victory of the season, and both Jared McCain and Guerschon Yabusele deserve the majority of the credit. I want to break down how these new additions are changing everything for the Sixers team in both the short and long term, and how the real breakout for Jared McCain may be right in front of our very eyes. So let's jump into exactly what went down last night in the Sixers' 107-105 victory over the Charlotte Hornets in overtime, and the star of the show in yesterday's victory was absolutely Jared McCain, finishing with 27 points, 3 rebounds, 2 assists, and a dive back into the box score at exactly what he had going on. Shot 10 of 18 from the field, 3 of 8 from 3, 4 for 4 at the line, added the 3 rebounds, 2 assists, 27 points, and played 31 minutes of action. That is a big story for a guy who has struggled a little bit to find his way into the rotation to start. It's been a difficult situation for Jared McCain with all the moving parts. He's yet to share the floor with Joel Embiid in an actual game that he obviously, Tyrese Maxey been out, Paul George just returning, all of these things. Now, to give a couple more takeaways on the game overall, it was frustrating for Paul George not to play overtime because of a minutes restriction here. We're still seeing some struggles from guys like Caleb Martin. Andre Drummond was infuriating to me. And to talk about the Drummond versus Yabusele, we're beginning to see the gap between these two. That lineup with Yabusele this year have a plus 29 net rating in 78 positions. Lineups with Drummond have a minus 32.5 net rating and 64 possessions there. And what the difference is, what we're really seeing with this, the ability to play 5-out basketball with Yabusele as a comfortable 3-point shooting big man has really opened up things for driving lanes for the rest of the team. And for Yabusele specifically, he's still a guy very capable in the post himself. You do lose a little bit from the rebounding standpoint, but honestly, Drummond has straight up not been good enough in this area. So that's something that for Drummond to be worth it to this team, he basically has to gobble up every single rebound when he's on the floor. Now, I still have optimism that when this team returns to full form, that Drummond can fill his role just fine, but that just is not happening. He's not the type of player that can scale up and serve as the starting center in the way that I think we hoped. But to talk a little bit more about McCain, I do want to touch on what we saw last night. So first off, I love the outlook stuff for him. I know that his personality has gotten a ton of critique because of how public he is, the TikTok, keep it going, all these things. Asked about it after the game, Jared McCain said what went through his head while defending LaMelo Ball in overtime, and I'm going to pull up that clip in a second. He said, quote, "It's just being quiet. Everything's so loud around you, so just locking in on the ball and having a quiet mind. My psychologist calls it feel the dance, and I just wanted to get a stop." And the fact that this dude's already talking like that as a 20-year-old rookie in his 9th NBA game is insane to me. And the quote that really got it for me with Jared McCain is, with his 27-point performance, he earned his first interview after the game, walking out the floor. I believe it was Taryn Hatcher that interviewed, my mistake if I got that wrong there. But they asked, like, what gives you the confidence to play this way this early in your career, to not see a shot that you don't like, the way that he was so willing firing it. And what Jared McCain said right back is, I work too hard not to be confident. And that won me over right there. Now, to dive into a little bit of his play, do want to pull up a couple highlights here, and it is the last one that I most specifically want to highlight. So for starters, you see a little bit of him getting to his spots, and he was hitting big-time shots last night. We're talking spin-in, step-back, mid-range, ones for the lead, big-time three-point shots, guys playing off him that was incredibly important to this team. He really was the driving force of the Sixers offense for stretches, which is not something I had on my bingo card this soon into the season. Now, where the question marks with Jared McCain have lied is on the defensive end. Can this guy hang at the NBA level? Can he share the floor with Tyrese Maxey? And this play changed my mind right here. So to give a better view of it there, to keep an eye, it is a 1-point game under a minute in overtime. LaMelo Ball wants Jared McCain. Calls the screen, gets the switch, gets the matchup he wants, and watch McCain move his feet here. Sliding with LaMelo, with him every step of the way, and look at that. A shot clock violation to earn the ball back, up 105-104 with about 30 seconds left in the game. There are certain situations, certain opportunities that while they're not like the peak performance or the highlight reel for that play, you find a little bit out about what that guy's made of. That was the case with Jared McCain in that exact play. I was incredibly impressed with him throughout the entire game last night, his willingness to step into the spotlight. And by the way, we have not seen the best of him yet, but I can tell you for a fact, watching him at Duke, there is a level of just red-hot shooting that he is capable of that we have not seen in the Sixers jersey just yet. There was a little bit of it last night where he was still knocking down shots, incredibly important to this team, but I'm telling you, this dude can rip the twine at a level that I don't think anyone else on this Sixers team is fully capable of. So very excited to see him growing in his role and grabbing the opportunity with the shorthanded minutes the way that he is. I don't think it happens because I don't think there's going to be enough minutes there for him, but although based on the injuries I'm not ruling out, my point here is going to be, I think there should be a little bit of buzz about Jared McCain in the Rookie of the Year conversation. Look around the league. Look at this rookie class. You're telling me that there has been that many impressive performances? His 27-point output last night was the second most points scored by any rookie in this class. Zachary Risache, the number 1 overall pick, did drop 33, which is the top scoring performance. But last night's output by Jared McCain, the 27 points there, is second out of this entire rookie class. And that's doing so with really limited opportunity. This is not a guy that's being allowed to play through his mistakes. He's just earning as much as he can and stepping up whenever those opportunities do come. Now, the other player that I do really think has stepped up and made the most of his opportunity is Guerschon Yabusele. And to touch on his stat line last night, finished with 20 points, 8 rebounds, 8 for 13 from the field, shot 2 of 4 from 3. He also, by the way, right now has knocked down multiple three-pointers in 5 of the last 6 games. That's real deal volume. That's real deal sample size. And I love his processing the game, the way that he goes about it. There's more to him than just being this like athletic freak we kind of saw at the Olympics, obviously dunking on LeBron, having some nice flashes. The more advanced areas of his games, his ability to pass, his roll and play make out of a pick and roll situation, a true pick and pop threat. Even like there was some old school drop it into the post and let him go to work last night, which I love to see and was fairly efficient offense for the Sixers team. So I'm thrilled that they got this win last night. I understand that we're not resetting entire expectations based on an overtime win against the Charlotte Hornets, but I do want to point something out here. That take a look at these Eastern Conference standings. I know it has been a nightmare start to the season, but let's look at this. The Sixers are in 13th with a 2-7 record, but take a peek at the top of this conference. Yes, the Cavs are 11-0. Yes, the Boston Celtics look unbelievable, but the Indiana Pacers sitting at number 3 in the conference, and take a peek at those games back. They are 5.5 games back out of first place there. The Philadelphia 76ers are 8 games. So quick math right here. The Sixers are 2.5 games out of the 3rd place in the Eastern Conference. And by the way, the next time that they will be stepping on the floor, their MVP Joel Embiid will be joining them. So it has been an ugly start to the season, but relax on pressing the panic button. There are some real deal positive takeaways about this Sixers team, most specifically on these guys who are being given opportunities that otherwise would not be the case if this was just a normal season here, that we're getting to see what Jared McCain can be. And by the way, this is long-term effects too, that you're factoring in for the future for what is the ideal situation. How can he impact this team? What is the role that he's going to grow into? Guerschon Yabusele looks like a home run of a minimum contract that this team has brought, that I am very comfortable and confident in saying that I think Yabu will be a significant part of this playoff rotation, a guy who has a real chance and I think probably will get the inside track on winning that starting power forward spot. Then when kind of picturing how this all comes together in ideal starting lineup, I think it's something along the lines of Tyrese Maxey, Paul George, Joel Embiid, one of either Caleb Martin or Kelly Oubre. We'll see how Martin's shot comes along. I'm still optimistic on the shot. I do think he's a little bit in his head right now, but nothing more than that. But we'll see how that plays out. And I think Yabusele at the 4 there, that rather than having both Martin and Oubre, which is more switchability and all this, the ability of him being like a true power forward, which the Sixers team just has not had in many years at this point, really the entire Joel Embiid era for the most part here, is really nice to have that as an option. So I feel incredibly vindicated on my belief in Jared McCain, and I do believe he's still scratching the surface. I think that the Sixers got another special kid that's going to develop into something. I think he's well beyond what any of us could have expected to this point, and I do think there's better days ahead still on the basketball court this season. So shout out to Jared McCain for giving his team a spark when they really needed, stepping into the spotlight and having a career night, 27 points in just his 9th NBA game. I cannot wait to see how things go for the rest of the season. I'm very excited to see him shooting off the gravity of players like Joel Embiid and Paul George, and of course Tyrese Maxey when they return to the floor. The puzzle pieces are still scattered all over the place, but you're seeing how this completely fits together, and I'm feeling a lot better about this Sixers team than I was initially, or I guess a couple games into the season here. It's still going to be a work in progress. They're still 2-7 and have a hole to dig out of, but they feel like they got a couple more tools to kind of start digging that hole with guys like Jared McCain and Guerschon Yabusele. So ultimately, the Sixers team will be back on Tuesday as the NBA Cup kicks off, that being tomorrow at this point, and Joel Embiid's going to be right there on the floor with them. So we'll see how things go from here, but it might be time to start buying some stock in this Sixers team. Let me know if you guys are on the same page as me and any other thoughts on McCain or Yabusele below. Appreciate each and every one of you guys for tuning in this video. Make sure you smash that subscribe and drop a like if you have not already. I'll be talking with you next time right here on Sixers Digest. Peace.